Hey again, we're back with the Singer Tradition, the 2277, and in this video I'm going to show you how to get your bobbin wound and installed and even adjust the tension, which is possible on this machine. So let me get us a good camera viewpoint and we'll get right to it. The first thing we're going to do is take off, this is the machine right out of the box, and it has this bobbin spool up here with some thread on it. So the first thing we're going to do is remove that. Now, you don't just yank it off and start snatching the thread out. Take this off, pull this off, snip the thread up here, and then grab the thread where it's coming out of the needle down here and pull it out of your machine frontwards. The gears inside of a machine, the tension discs and all, they're set up for the thread to move through it forward. So if you continually pull it out backwards, sometimes that does tend to mess up your tension. So anyway, better safe than sorry. Just snip it off at the spool and pull it out through the needle. Now the next thing we're going to do is access the bobbin. On this machine, your bobbin compartment is down here. So put your finger under here and pull it this direction. That's going to pull off your, this is actually a little, has a little compartment in it so you can put your stuff in it. Keep it close. Now you have, this is the free arm, so if you're trying to do a cuff or something, you can put it on here. Alright, right here at the side, you can just let this down. Okay, you've opened up the bobbin compartment now. So we're going to need to flip this little lever out, and you can do it with your finger or you can use the little screwdriver that came with it to lift it up. But either way, you're going to, and when you lift it, that unlocks it, and then you can just pull it right out. It just comes out. Okay, and this is where your bobbin goes. Okay, so take out the one that's in there, just pull it out. Okay, and we're going to shut that back, and let me get another view, and we will wind a bobbin. Okay, first let's take a spool of thread and we're going to slip it onto the spool holder. Then you're going to take the little end cap there and slip it right on. Now, if you, like I showed you in the previous video, if you have the spool that has the notch in it, you're going to want to use this one, but since we just have a small end, we can use this one. Alright, we have our spool. Now, okay, next for our bobbin. So, you see the little hole right here? There's a little hole. One of them looks like a hole, one of them is a hole. So, pick the one that is actually a hole, and first, let's load our thread through here. You're going to come through guide 1. There's a little loop. So put it, snap it down in there, that little loop. Now, this round thing, you're going to bring your thread to the outside of it and then come under it. And you're going to hold your thread and pull it a little bit because you want it to snap into that guide. Alright, next we're going to find the end of this thread, and I'm going to cut a little bit off real quick because it came unwound. Okay, now when you put this in your bobbin, and it really doesn't matter, but the way I do it is come under that top disc and let it come up through the hole. Okay, so you're coming under the bottom side of it and then coming through the hole. Now you're going to bring it over here to this little spindle. This little spindle has a wire loop. Your plastic bobbin has a little notch in it on the inside of it. So that's what goes over the wire loop. So let me turn it a little bit. Got it on the wire loop and press it down. Okay, make sure you don't pull your thread out when you're doing that. So we're going to hold that up. Next we're going to engage the bobbin, and that means we're going to push this all the way over till you hear it click, and then we're ready to wind. So you're going to hold your thread up, hold it a little kind of firmly so that it doesn't get sucked right back out, and then you're going to step on your presser foot. Now if you notice, the needle in your machine is not moving. When you snap this over to the right, that's what disengages your needle and it engages your bobbin wind. So you're going to hold your thread up out of the way while it gets started winding. Then after it's done a few laps and you can tell it's, you know, anchored really well, you can snip that off right there at the top of the bobbin, and then we'll just wind away. Okay, my bobbin is winding heavy on the bottom, and the way you can adjust this is this screw over here. If it's winding heavy on the bottom, if you turn it to the left a little bit, what you want is a very evenly wound bobbin, and I'll pop this off and show you what I'm talking about. You can see how much bigger it is on the bottom than it is on the top. While that's not, you know, a deal breaker there, you really want just a nice even bobbin. So probably the next thing I'm going to try is to loosen this screw. I'll turn it to the left just a little bit and see if that helps with my bobbin winding. I'm not going to do that right now, but that is a future tip for you. So I'll go ahead and finish this. Also, you can just take your finger, and like mine needs more on the top, so I'm just kind of going to hold it to the top a little bit and let it wind that. Now you see how it's slowing down? It's really struggling to wind. That means the bobbin's full because it's pressing against this little guide over here. So at that point, you can disengage, pop this off, and snip your thread. Now you have a nice bobbin and we're ready to go. The next thing we're going to do is put this into the bobbin casing. So here's our bobbin casing. We're going to turn it this way. Now you want your thread to be coming off this side. You want it to come over the top and down, and we're going to just drop it in there. Okay, now if you look on the top, you see this slit. We've got to get the thread in there, so I usually have to turn it this direction. It's going in that, and then you're going to pull to your right till it gets down in that little notch there. Okay, now that's what you want right there. That's the position we're looking for. Now let's check the tension on our thread. So for these, if you put your bobbin in the palm of your hand and you hold this up, what you actually want is you want it to slide down. Now I've given it a little jingle like that, and now it's operating very nicely. If you need to adjust it, there's a tiny little screw right there. And that is how you adjust the tension on your bobbin. So you can use your handy little screwdriver and you just slip it in there. If you turn it to the right, it's going to tighten it up. And you just go by quarter turns. Maybe sometimes I just do a hair one way or the other. So let's check it now. I turned it, even though it was good at the beginning. Okay, now you see how it's not falling? It's just hanging there. Even if I shake it, that's too tight. And actually, that is how it came. I did do a test run of the bobbin, and this is the only machine I've really ever gotten that I had to actually adjust the bobbin before I used it. So that's too tight. So I'm going to come over here, and I'm actually just going to turn it to the left, half of a quarter of a turn, which is an eighth. And let's see how it does. See, it's still too tight. It's still not sliding down when I bounce it. So let's give it a little more turn to the left. And let's check it again. Now we have a nice slow descent. So this is correctly adjusted. Now you don't have to adjust it often because most of the time you're using the same weight of thread, but it is good to check it ever so often. So now that we have this wound, we have it in the casing, we have it adjusted, let's load it in the machine. Okay, we're going to open our flap where the bobbin casing goes and lay the string towards the back. Okay, pull your lever out and hold it between your thumb and your finger. When you've got the lever out, that's what keeps the bobbin in there so it won't fall out. Now, that little notch that's right there, let's see if I can tilt it up just a little. See that little notch on the top part? That is where that little arm goes. It just slips right in that notch, okay? And that's all you have to do. Now you can close your door and you're ready there. We can't do anything else with the bobbin until we get the upper thread loaded. So check out the next video for how to load the upper thread. See you next time. Bye.